Former President Barack Obama still on the campaign trail, still absolutely crushing a lot of the horrible people that are running this time around. Most recently, former President Obama was in the state of Nevada. Nevada is a place that has a very important race going on. It is a race that is not necessarily going that well for the Democrat. The Republican running is Adam Laxalt, a horrible, horrible person. This is Nevada Senate. And the Democratic candidate is Catherine Cortez Mastro. Unfortunately, Adam Laxalt has opened up a roughly 1.9 percentage points over Mastro, and he is an absolutely horrible, horrible candidate. Former President Barack Obama. Yeah, right. We know his real name. He called out the rising anti-Semitism that we are seeing. He correctly identified that the rhetoric that led to Paul Pelosi being attacked is likely to do more damage and to cause more violence. Let's listen to a few of these clips speaking very precisely on these issues.
And it gets disseminated and millions of people log on to that. I want to give you a tip, Nevada.
Yep.
I want to give you a tip. If you see or read something on the internet that says some people, certain kinds of people, whether it's white or black or immigrant or gay or Jew or Muslim, when you see something on the internet that says those people are the cause of your problems, that is a dangerous lie. That is a path that will tear this country apart.
Yeah. And it's not just will tear the country apart, but it's will also lead to significantly more violence. And in this next clip, former President Obama makes that point very clear as well.
Look, a friend of mine, Mr. Paul Pelosi, was attacked viciously. Somebody broke into his home looking for his wife, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. And thankfully, I spoke to Paul a couple days ago, and he's going to be okay. But even as investigators do their job, find out what exactly motivated this person, one thing's clear. This increasing habit of demonizing political opponents creates a dangerous climate. And elected officials who do not explicitly reject or participate in over-the-top rhetoric, if that's what they're doing instead of, if they just ignore or make light of that kind of violence, or if they encourage their supporters to stand outside voting places armed with guns and dressed in tactical gear,
yes,
if that's the environment that we create, more people are going to get hurt.
And remember, generically condemning violence when there is violence, but then continuing to do campaign ads where there's targets on people, or to say at campaign rallies, someone should really do something about Nancy Pelosi. This is a really big difference between the left and the right in the United States. The right will say Black Lives Matter is violent and they threaten people, or Antifa does this, that, or the other thing. When you look at the top level of the people in positions of power, you do not see the violent rhetoric from the left the way that you see from the right. It's what it is. The left doesn't talk about knocking them around, alluding to violence, but playing coy. The left doesn't regularly use campaign ads with people holding firearms or putting targets on the backs of individuals. I know that we can find in a country of 330 million anecdotes of everything, but the right, specifically the MAGA right, Mitt Romney really doesn't do this that I've ever seen him do. I've not seen Liz Cheney do it. I've not seen Adam Kinzinger do it. But the MAGA right is doing this deliberately. And it's not, it might lead to violence anymore. It has led to violence. It has led to violence. Barack Obama also weighing in very clearly on the stakes here when it comes to policy that affects people versus cultural issues that are contrived and used to drive wedges between individuals.
The question, though, you should be asking is, who's going to actually try to do something about it?
Right.
Because if you watch these ads, Republicans, they talk about it a lot, but what's their answer exactly? What is their economic policy?
None. Tax cuts for the rich, I guess.
No, they've got one. They want to gut Social Security and Medicare and then give their wealthy friends and big corporations more tax cuts.
Right.
Because that's their answer to everything. I'm not joking. Literally, it does not matter what's going on. When inflation is low and unemployment is high, they want tax cuts. When it's the reverse, tax cuts. I was telling some folks in Michigan, if there was an asteroid headed towards Earth right now, they'd all get in the room. They'd say, you know what you need? We got to cut taxes for the wealthy. That's going to solve it. Really? I mean, I guess it's simple to just have one answer to every economic problem.
Exactly.
Like, I remember, when I had a test in math, and sometimes I didn't study hard enough. Might have stayed up too late the night before, and it'd be nice if you could just write down 8 for every answer.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a version of when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, or you claim it's a nail, even if it's something completely different. And former President Obama is completely right in that. And he actually goes further. And again, this is not about glorifying Republicans of times past. It's not that Reagan was great or Bush, by dear God, it's not that Bush was great either. It's that there has been a real observable, tangible change in the way that this political party, the Republican Party, operates.
On the one hand, you got politicians who seem like they will do anything and say anything to get power, and leaders who share our values, who want to make your lives better, who want to move the country forward. And let me say this, Nevada. One of the difficult things about these kinds of rallies these days is sometimes this seems so partisan, as if it's just a Democrat-Republican thing. Look, my favorite president is a guy named Abe Lincoln, who helped found the Republican Party. It used to be that there were GOP members who championed progress and civil rights and
that was longer ago than Bush, to be clear.
Rule of law. But these days, just about every Republican politician seems obsessed with 2 things: owning the libs and getting Donald Trump's approval.
For now. And as we spoke about with Angelo Carasone yesterday, the desperation for Trump's approval may wane depending on how next Tuesday goes and depending on what happens with Trump's 2024 candidacy, if there is one. Last clip from Obama. He weighs in on election fraud. Adam Laxalt, the candidate that he is campaigning against in Nevada, is a big lie proponent. And here is what President Obama says.
He has no actual evidence of election fraud because there's actually no widespread election fraud. But he's not going to let that stop him.
Absolutely.
He's going to look under every rock in the desert to try to find an excuse. Although if he wins, I'm guessing he'll be less concerned. All those votes will be legit. Funny how that works. Listen, I lost my first congressional race by 30 points. I got whooped. You know what I did not do? I didn't say this was rigged. I didn't claim fraud. I certainly didn't instigate a riot on the Capitol. Instead, I asked myself, how can I be better?
Yeah, good luck getting Republicans to ask themselves that question. And of course, he's completely and totally correct. If you vote in Nevada, we do not want Senator Adam Laxalt. And we have the potential to see Senator Adam Laxalt and Senator Herschel Walker and Senator Mehmet Oz and Governor Kari Lake and a Republican governor in Oregon, whose name I forget, for the first time since 1987. This could get very dark very, very quickly. And so we have to vote. We have to vote is the message. I know it's repetitive, but it is a must do. The chances that your login credentials have been leaked in a data breach are higher than you might think, but you can actually check. If you go to aura.com/Pacman, you can try Aura for free. Our sponsor, Aura, scans the dark web for your personal information, login credentials, social security number, and sends you alerts. Sign up, and you could be shocked to see how many alerts you get. On Aura, one of our team members found his login credentials in 3 different data breaches. Now, of course, he changed his passwords right away. I've told you before about one of my accounts getting hacked. Scary feeling, but Aura also does so much more by automatically requesting the removal of information from data search engines, giving you fast alerts on suspicious credit inquiries. Aura has password management, malware protection for all of your devices. And Aura also helps you manage what your kids can do on their devices by restricting certain apps. It's really like a Swiss Army knife of online security. And you can try Aura for free for 2 weeks at aura.com/Pacman. The link is down below.